Good morning and welcome Mr. His Excellency Jurian Middelhoff, Mrs. Zila Boyer. Please have a seat because we will start our event. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Bung Hatta Meeting Room, Universitas Negeri Jakarta. In a moment, we shall start our event. We kindly invite all participants to be seated properly. Thank you.
Give a round of applause to Ondel Ondel Dance Betawi from Indonesia. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Guye Moken, and greetings to all of us.
The Honorable Dutch Ambassador of Youth, Education and Works, His Excellency Julian Middelhoff, Director of Graduate School of Universitas Negeri Jakarta, Profesor Dr. Dedi Purwana ESM Bus,
Second Secretary, Political Affairs, Mrs. Zila Boyer, Education and Science Counselor, Mrs. Yvonne Clerks,
Dean Faculty of Mathematics and Natural Sciences, Dr. Hadi Nasbei, SPD MSI, the Center for Cooperation and Internalization Graduate School of Universitas Negeri Jakarta, Profesor Dr. Setia Budi MSc,
the respectful all distinguished head department of Universitas Negeri Jakarta, and all of the participants who have joined us for today's wonderful event.
Welcome to Studium Generale, Challenges and Opportunity for Youth Across Globe. It's a great honor for me, Matthew Nathanael, and my partner,
Karen Audi,
as Ambassador of Universitas Negeri Jakarta, to host this remarkable occasion. Through this event, we come together to strengthen the bonds of friendship and foster meaningful exchange between our two nations. Menir and Mefro, we will now listen to the opening remarks from the Director of Graduate School Universitas Negeri Jakarta, Profesor Dedi Purwana SM Bus. The stage is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. His Excellency, the Honorable Dutch Ambassador for Youth, Education and Works, His Excellency Julian Middelhoff, the Honorable Mrs. Zila Boyer, Second Secretary, Political Affairs, the Honorable Mrs. Yvonne Clerk, Education and Science Counselor, the Honorable Dean of Faculty Math and Natural Science, Dr. Hadi Nasbei, Vice Dean for Academic Affairs, Dr. Melia Sari, the Honorable Head of Collaboration and International Centers, Graduate School of Universitas Jakarta, Professor Setia Budi, distinguished guests, respected faculty member, fellow educators, and most importantly, the vibrant and promising youth gathered here today. Good morning, everybody. It is both an honor and a privilege to stand before you at this Studium Generale, a forum that celebrates the pursuit of knowledge, the exchange of ideas, and the empowerment of minds. Today, we gather to reflect on the theme that is not only timely but deeply consequential challenges and opportunity for youth across the globe. Let us begin acknowledging a simple truth. The youth are not just the leader of tomorrow. They are the change maker of today. In every corner of the world, young people are rising to confront the pressing issue of our time, from climate activism to technological innovation, from social justice movements to entrepreneurial ventures. Youth are shaping the narrative of our global future. Yet, this journey is not without its challenges. Across the globe, young people face a complex web of obstacles: economic uncertainty, educational inequality, mental health crisis, political instability, and the ever-evolving demands of a digital world. In many regions, access to quality education remain a privilege rather than a right. Unemployment rates among youth are disproportionately high, and many feel disillusioned by systems that seem to overlook their voices. Moreover, the digital age, while offering unprecedented connectivity, also brings with it the burden of comparison, misinformation, and cyber threats. The pressure to succeed, to be divisible, to be perfect. There are modern challenges that previous generation could scarcely imagine. But let us not dwell solely on the difficulties. For every challenge, there is an opportunity, and it is in this duality that the true power of youth emerge. Today's youth are more connected, more informed, and more capable than any generation before. You have access to tools that can amplify your voice, platforms that can launch your ideas, and network that can support your growth. You are digital natives, global citizens, and creative thinkers. You are not bound by border or limited by convention. The opportunities before you are vast. In education, for example, online learning and open resources have democratized access to knowledge. In entrepreneurship, innovation hubs and startup ecosystem are empowering your minds to solve real-world problems. In activism, social media has become a powerful tool for mobilizing and advocacy. In science and technology, you are leading breakthroughs in AI, sustainability, and space exploration. In art and culture, young voices are redefining narratives and challenging stereotypes. But with opportunity comes responsibility. The world needs your courage, your compassion, your commitment. It needs you to be informed, to be engaged, to be ethical. It needs you to ask difficult questions, to challenge injustice, and to build a bridge across divides. So as we embark on today's discussion, let us remember that this is not just an academic exercise, it is a call to action, a call to dream boldly, to think critically, and to act purposefully. To the youth here today, you are not passive recipients of the future. You are its architects. The choice you make, the values you uphold, and the causes you champion will shape the world for generations to come. Let this Studium Generale be a spark, a moment of inspiration, reflection, and connection. Let it be a reminder that while the challenges are real, the opportunities are greater, and let it be a celebration of incredible potential that lies within each of you. Again, on behalf of Rektor Universitas Negeri Jakarta, we appreciate and thanks to His Excellency Julian Middelhoff for his time, for the ability to share with our young people. Give applause to him. Thank you, and may today's event ignite ideas and lead to action, and action that lead to transformation. Thank you very much. Have enjoyed the Studium Generale. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Thank you well, Prof. Dedi, for the remarkable, wonderful remarks.
Now, we will proceed to the main session of today's event, the Studium Generale, moderated by Dr. Melia Sari, Vice Dean of Academic Affairs, Faculty of Mathematics and Natural Sciences, Universitas Negeri Jakarta. Dr. Melia Sari, the audience is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan. Good morning, goeiemorgen. The Honorable Director of Postgraduate School Universitas Negeri Jakarta, Professor Dr. Dedi Purwana MS. Our distinguished speaker, the Ambassador of Youth, Education and Work for the Kingdom of the Netherlands, His Excellency Gerard Middelhoff, Ms. Zila Boyer, Ms. Yvonne Clerks, Ibu Puji Asuti, Ibu Dilara Padani, the Director of Cooperation and Internationalization, Graduate School of WNJ, Professor Dr. Setia Budi, the Dean of Faculty of Mathematics and Natural Science, Dr. Hadi Nasbe, and all the participants this morning in our Studium Generale. I am Melia Sari, Vice Dean of Academic, Students and Alumni Affairs, Faculty of Mathematics and Natural Science. It is my honor to be here as the moderator of today's Studium Generale. As mentioned by Prof. Dedi, young people are not just shaping the future, but you are also shaping present today. Yeah, and in this Studium Generale, we are delighted to have His Excellency Julian Middelhoff to talk about the challenges and opportunities for young people across the globe. And hopefully you can get a lot of inspiration and insights, and then we all can reflect and ask ourselves what kind of contribution that we can make for the global society. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome His Excellency Julian Middelhoff.
Stage is mine. Okay, you want me to do it from here? I had prepared. Well, you have to be careful. If you invite the Dutch, it will be very interactive and direct. So I'll warn you about that already as well. May I first start by asking, who here wants to be a teacher? Who wants to be a teacher? That's not too many. That's less than I expected. Oh, better other question. Who is already a teacher? Ah, okay. Okay, so who wants to or is already a teacher? Who wants to be or is already a teacher?
Yang sudah jadi guru, boleh tunjuk tangan, dan yang mau jadi guru, silakan tunjuk tangan. Ayo, jangan malu-malu. Okay.
Okay, so that is slightly more than half, I think. That's really good, because for me, teachers are really the unsung heroes of the educational system and thereby of our future generations. In my job, I visit so many schools and so many trainings institutes, and what strikes me is the dedication, the passion of teachers in particular in trying to transfer knowledge to young generations and really helping, caring for those younger generations and really helping them along in life. And the efforts that they make, the passion that they have, cannot be overstated. My father, he was a teacher himself, and at the time when I was young and he was always coming home from work, stressed out, we would think as kids, stop this job, what a nonsense. You're so stressed over your students, but only now I realize how important of a job he had, and that this stress that he brought home came from the passion and dedication that he had working for his students, caring for his pupils. Yes, really, teachers are the unsung heroes of our current educational system. Right, I told you I would make it interactive. My first question to you, or it's actually a statement, and I want to see hands for those in favor. My first statement is Indonesian and Dutch youth have nothing in common. Who shares this statement? Please raise your hand.
Pak Jurian menyampaikan sebuah statement, generasi muda Indonesia dan generasi muda Belanda tidak punya persamaan. Have nothing in common. Siapa yang setuju boleh angkat tangan.
Nobody agrees. That's, well, you're very unified, and I would agree with you as well. I believe the Indonesian and Dutch have a lot in common. For starters, our languages. They share over 1,000 words, like kantoor, stempel, gratis, bel. So if you ever get lost in Amsterdam, just speak Bahasa and you might be understood. And it's not just language, it is lifestyle as well. More than 95% of students in both Indonesia and the Netherlands use WhatsApp every day, TikTok. We scroll, chat, procrastinate, probably in exactly the same way. Even our playlists might look identical. I'm sure that there are some Swifties in the room here. Who is a Swiftie? Please raise your hand. Yes, I saw one. And I know there are more. Or Billie Eilish fans? Yeah? K-pop? It's all K-pop here. Yeah, well, it's increasing in popularity in the Netherlands as well. Just 2 nights ago, we were dancing to K-pop at the residence here. Apparently, heartbreak sounds the same in every time zone. And let's be honest, I am pretty sure that students everywhere share one more thing. Going to bed way too late and still showing up for class with coffee in hand. So, yes, we might be thousands of kilometers apart, but student life is truly universal. So good morning, selamat pagi. My name is Juria Middelhof, and I'm the Dutch ambassador for youth education and work. And I'll explain a little bit more what that position entails. We live in a world with a very youthful population. And that population is larger than ever. Over 1.8 billion people are considered youth nowadays globally. And this is the biggest cohort that the world has ever seen. And despite this youthful world, young people are often amongst the most affected by today's global challenges. from conflict and climate change to economic uncertainty. And therefore, it is truly inspiring to see such bright young minds gathered here today. So I want to speak first of all some words of gratitude to the university, Universitas Negeri Jakarta, for welcoming us as a delegation and allowing me to talk to you about a topic close to my heart, but I believe also to your heart, as the director already said some very valuable words on youth. As you may have noticed, I am not youth by any definition possible. Actually, I am a diplomatic envoy on behalf of the Kingdom of the Netherlands to promote the focus on young people globally. We do that as the Kingdom of the Netherlands on the basis of the Youth at Heart strategy since 2019. And I will tell you a little bit more about this strategy. As I'll be speaking about the challenges and opportunities that youth are facing in today's world. I welcome all of you. This is supposed to be an interactive session, so I welcome you to think along, ask questions, video and live stream as much as you like, because this is supposed to be interactive, cool and fun, right? Speak your mind. I'm curious to hear your story as you are young persons in this world, of course. Now, in Indonesia, which is one of the largest youthful populations in Southeast Asia, the global trends that I mentioned also show up. For example, the difficulties for young people to enter the job market, concerned about future climate impacts, very real here in Jakarta, for example, but in other areas as well. Questions about how to engage meaningfully in society. And just some statistics. In 2024, Indonesia had more than 64 million youth. That's 20%, 1/5 of the country. And about 60% of these young people, they live in urban areas. That's important. And then as many as 40% are graduates from either high school or vocational training institutes. But meanwhile, about 11%, I would say only 11%, have completed their education up to third level, so up to college level. Without immediate action, millions of young people could be left behind without a future and forced to seek opportunities elsewhere. And so if we fail to act, countries risk not only losing productivity, but also losing an entire generation's belief in a social contract. Look at the Gen Z protests all around the world. Young people care about their future and they want to have a say in their future. So clearly, youth and students do not wish to remain silent on all of the challenges that they face. Such demonstrations point to structural issues that young people across the globe face. Large numbers of youth population that may turn into challenges when youth feel excluded from meaningful jobs, economic opportunities, a democratic voice, but also educational opportunities. So today we'll explore a little bit in which area exactly young people face challenges, but also where they see opportunities. So I will be talking to you about 5 key areas: education, employment, including entrepreneurship, meaningful youth participation, climate change, civic engagement and critical thinking, and youth peace and security. Why these topics? Because the basis of our Youth at Heart strategy started with young people, asking young people from all over the world, what are your dreams in life and what are the barriers that you are facing to achieve those dreams, because that is where we as the Kingdom of the Netherlands should focus on, and in fact as governments of the world should be focusing on. And these were the 6 topics that young people across the globe identified as being the most priority challenges: education, employment, meaningful youth participation, climate change, civic engagement and critical thinking, and youth peace and security. So let's go back to you guys. When we focus on our Youth at Heart strategy, my first question to you is, do you feel that the challenges that young people face are the same across the globe? Who feels that they are? Please raise your hand.
Ada yang ingin menjawab? Apakah menurut Anda challenges, tantangan yang dihadapi generasi muda di seluruh dunia itu sama? Silakan, boleh menyampaikan. Boleh pakai bahasa Indonesia, jika kesulitan dengan bahasa Inggris nanti dibantu diterjemahkan. Oke. One.
Who feels that all the challenges are the same across the world?
Mungkin untuk kurang lebih itu sama, cuma just on the dasarkan latar belakangnya itu dasarkan ekonominya itu apakah ya gitu sih ya tergantung latar belakang ekonomi juga, habis itu juga kondisi negaranya juga deh. Okay. Thanks.
Yes, I fully agree. So I would agree. Yeah.
Good morning. I believe from what you started saying that the Gen Z protest all over the world, so there's a common pattern between the reasons and the issues that the Gen Zs are raising all over the world. So yes, to that answer.
Thank you very much. Great. Yeah, I also, well, like I said before, this really comes out of this research that we conducted with over 1,900 young people from all over the world who contributed to the Dutch Youth at Heart strategy. That yes, these challenges are in fact very universal. If you look at it from a grander scheme of things, and I also very much agree with the colleague that of course the details differ per socio-economic background, but in general the themes are very universal that young people are facing. And if you think about it, it makes perfect sense, because everybody in life wants to build a future for him or herself. And that starts with an economic opportunity, with a job, or the opportunity to become an entrepreneur. And you can only do that, find a meaningful job or a decent job or entrepreneurship opportunities once you have achieved a good enough quality education. So those are crucial everywhere. And yes, of course, young people want to have a say in everything that is being decided, because there's so much going on in the world that's affecting not only them but also their peers and their children, maybe even at one point. So to address these challenges that young people are facing worldwide, the Youth at Heart strategy launched by the Kingdom of the Netherlands recognizes the need to empower young people. And that strategy advocates for jobs, for entrepreneurship, and indeed meaningful youth participation. With Youth at Heart, the Kingdom of the Netherlands acknowledges that youth are not just beneficiaries of our programs, but essential stakeholders in many of the key areas, in all of the key areas, to be honest. And in Dutch foreign policy, that means working in cooperation with local partners, governments, civil society, the private sector, but also work with and for youth. Now, my next statement is maybe controversial, but a vocational certificate, we're moving to education. A vocational certificate is more useful than a university degree. Who agrees with that statement?
Pernyataan yang berikutnya, vocational education certificate is better ya than university, more useful than university degree. Jadi dari vocational itu vokasi ya, keahlian vokasi lebih bermanfaat, lebih bisa diaplikasikan atau lebih mudah ya mencari kerja begitu dibandingkan gelar dari universitas. Siapa yang setuju boleh tunjuk tangan. Silakan.
Who agrees?
Who agrees?
I agree.
Siapa yang setuju?
I know it's controversial here at the university, but you're all going to be teachers or are already teachers. So.
Okay.
Okay, that's not too many. I'll explain you why I think it is the case. And it's good when you're training your students to make them realize that there are options in life. A university degree is not the only key to a proper profession, although I fully acknowledge that that differs from culture to culture, from society to society. But where I come from, and to be honest, in many of the countries I visit, nowadays there is a shortage of practically skilled people. In the Netherlands, a carpenter earns more than a diplomat, than an ambassador. A plumber earns more than a dentist nowadays. And I strongly believe with technology on the rise, AI, etc., this will only increase. And I see the same in countries I visit. There is a huge pressure on university to train all of the university students that apply and make sure that they graduate. They all want to graduate in international politics on the American University of, etc., etc. But what the society really needs is trustworthy carpenters. A car mechanic that doesn't steal your air conditioning whilst he or she is at it, but actually fixes your car. A plumber that comes when you call and actually goes and delivers the service that you require. A hotel or other hospitality facilities that provide excellent service. So all too often, too many young people graduate with skills that don't translate into jobs, leaving both talent but also businesses underserved. And what are those skills? Those skills are, first of all, you need to be able to learn how to fix plumbing and how to serve drinks in a restaurant, etc. Those are technical skills. But more importantly, perhaps, or just as important, are soft skills. You need to be able to present yourself in front of a group or in front of other people. You need to be able to be kind enough once you deliver a service that the customer or the other party will come back to you because they have a positive feeling when they engage with you. You need to be able to summarize a discussion in just 2 words so that it sticks with the other person. Your elevator pitch, very important. You need to be able to change between having a conversation and then the administrative part as well. These are all we call it soft skills or life skills that are increasingly important in life, and therefore should be really part of education. As a result of not training and the mismatch between the graduates from universities and educational institutes, we see a skills gap, because many companies complain to me, or when I speak to directors, that for them, even though there is high youth unemployment, they are finding trouble getting the right people in their positions, in their job openings. This is what we call the skills gap. So inequality in higher education, these are some figures to illustrate this. With only 5.8% of the bottom 40% expenditure group graduating from college, so let me rephrase that, only 5.8% of the lowest 40% income groups is actually graduating from higher education. Compared to about 21% of the highest 20%. So you see, if you're part of a lower income group, you have almost a 25% chance of graduating from higher education compared to your peers who have been born into a higher income group. That is something, an inequality that we need to address. Another important challenge in this regard is the needs. So people not in education or employment or training, right? That is well over, almost 26% in 23, it was at least. Whereby females, women, are much more likely to fall in this category. So doubling their unemployment rate, actually. So we need to do something about the inequality in higher education, and that is to do with the access of education, and we need to do something about those people who fall in the need category, because they run a real risk of not being part of society. And a big challenge herein is the digital skills division. We know that around the world, amongst youth, many lack access to essential technology or don't have enough digital literacy and training. But how to align education training systems with the real needs of lasting changing labor markets, or fast changing labor markets? We have emphasized the importance of technical vocational training, TVET, so practical training and courses, and therefore, so also lifelong learning. You're not done when you graduate at university. You need to continue to invest in yourself. And even if you're as old as I am, it is important to upskill yourself, invest in the new trends and technology, and make sure that, in particular when you're a teacher, but also if you're a professional, that you share this knowledge with your pupils or with your co-workers. This is what we call lifelong learning. And as governments, we need to invest in closing the skills gap. In today's world, we see that vital skills for the future, like digital skills, problem-solving abilities, and critical thinking, are vital and essential. So I'll repeat them: digital skills, problem-solving abilities, and critical thinking. And we need to invest in that. And moreover, all of us need to invest in these skills for ourselves. Also important is that we need to link the demand and the supply. So we need to link the educational courses with the demands from the labor market. And I wish this to all the teachers as well. Please check in with future employers for the pupils that you will be training. No matter which field you are active, check in and continuously check in with employers, with companies, maybe even with entrepreneurs where your pupils might be working. Invite them to your classroom to make sure that the classes, the lessons that you are teaching remain as relevant as possible, as accurate as possible for the pupils that you are training. And that brings me to the next topic, employment. So another statement, please bear with me. Today's young people are the most entrepreneurial generation ever, and that means that good jobs are just around the corner. Who is in favor of this statement? Please raise your hand.
Generasi muda zaman sekarang itu paling entrepreneurial, jadi punya daya entrepreneurship. Siapa yang setuju boleh tunjuk tangan.
Nobody. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Now I see some people who agree. Well, I think we do see a very entrepreneurial generation. Of course, inspired by some of the tech entrepreneurs nowadays, which can all be seen over social media, etc., etc. But we have to be, and I think many of the skills that younger generations possess are critical for becoming an entrepreneur. But we have to be wary of one thing. We have to mind one thing. Many young people are entrepreneurs out of necessity, not out of passion. Yes, there are exceptions, obviously, and great exceptions with the tech entrepreneurs and startups. There's a lot of opportunities to become an entrepreneur as a young person nowadays. But in many of the countries where we see large youth unemployment, many young people start entrepreneuring out of necessity in the informal economy. Over the next decade, 1.2 billion young people will reach a working age. Yet only 400 million jobs will be available. Let that sink in. If we face youth unemployment now, this risk challenge will only increase because we will get 1.2 billion extra youth to the labor market, but only 400 million jobs are currently foreseen extra. So that means an extra pressure of 800 million young people worldwide. Clearly, we need jobs, and in fact, we need many of them. And the task at hand is therefore clear. Provide young people with decent employment opportunities everywhere. However, the question of how to do it and the skill required, that remains largely unanswered. And in this context, we as the Netherlands focus on economic self-dependency through private sector development and also entrepreneurial opportunities. Through startups and incubators and facilitating this, we are creating new job opportunities that didn't exist before. We know that every startup, on average, after 2 years, employs between 5 to 10 people. There are exceptions of higher numbers, and of course there are exceptions of lower numbers, but on average 5 to 10. So we need to invest in startups because those are jobs that didn't exist before. Earlier this week here in Jakarta, on Monday I visited a hackathon organized by the embassy, and this reminded me why entrepreneurship matters so much. Creativity, ingenuity, perseverance, these are not just business skills, These are vital life skills that young people can bring to the table so much better than us old people. Innovation, that too is indispensable if we are to tackle the complex challenges of our time. On the technical side, the future belongs to those who can understand, apply, and innovate new and perhaps, for example, green technologies. And whether that's solar energy systems, water management solutions, circular design, or data-driven approaches to energy efficiency, these are the kinds of hands-on, practical skills that turn ideas into real impact. And when I already mentioned that when I speak to CEOs, they often mention the skills gap that limits youth employment. We try to tackle this in many ways, in different ways, and we love to share those experiences because, as I mentioned before, this is a shared world problem. We do this bottom up by strengthening the technical and soft skills amongst youth, and we invest in it top down by partnering with businesses, with governments and the private sector to develop learning by doing pathways, allowing young people to earn, learn, and innovate simultaneously. So we know that challenges remain. Youth unemployment in this region stands at 16.16%, and we know that young Indonesians tend to be more pessimistic about the economy and governance compared to their peers in neighboring countries. There are also issues like high informal employment, limited access to capital for startups, and a lot of regional disparities. And these all affect, in particular, rural young people. But I want to look at it from a positive side as well. The opportunities are tremendous in water and in food security, in agri-business innovation, and in the green economy. We know that there will be many jobs available, and youth employment should therefore be a priority for every government. So, that brings me to governance. And I already mentioned my hobby horse, meaningful youth participation, a few times. Youth as partners, not as beneficiaries. Who agrees with me that young people should have a formal seat at every policy-making tables? Please show your hands.
Generasi muda harusnya punya posisi di pengambilan keputusan ya, policy making untuk pengambilan polisi kebijakan. Boleh tunjuk tangan.
Okay, now I see a little bit more. That is many who don't agree. I'm curious to learn why not.
Banyak yang nggak setuju, kenapa?
Who doesn't agree?
Siapa yang tidak setuju?
Because I strongly agree, so please challenge me.
Yes. Siapa yang tidak setuju boleh menyampaikan pendapatnya.
Yeah, that is one way of youth participation, but it needs to come bottom up, of course, from the young people themselves in society.
Silakan. Yang tidak tunjuk tangan itu tidak setuju atau tidak berpendapat?
Well, in addition to the economic perspectives that I just mentioned, I also already mentioned that this is the third biggest issue that young people mention. It is that they feel left out from so many important decisions in their life, so at low level, but also out of so many big decisions that are being made in the world. So this is why the Kingdom of the Netherlands emphasizes on meaningful youth participation. And by that we mean truly partnering with young people as equals, listening to them, trusting them, supporting their leadership from the very start to the very end of decision-making processes. This is more than just facilitating a seat at the table. This is about making sure that when they are in that seat, their views, their opinions are being taken on board in the decision-making process, because we're convinced, and I'm convinced, that if that is the case, if you have more inclusive decision-making, and this can be at all levels, municipal level, community level, provincial level, state level, global level, this can be at NGOs, companies, universities, knowledge institutes, think tank, everywhere. If you have more inclusive decision-making processes, your decisions will be better and your organization will work more efficiently. So we do that as a Dutch ministry as well. We have an international youth advisory committee, and more than 20 embassies have local youth advisory committees as well. And to do this well, we must understand the unique challenges that youth face. Youth are not a homogeneous group. It depends whether they're from a city or from a rural area, whether they're from a poor or a rich family, which religion they have, what kind level of education they have, etc., etc., etc. We must try to understand and bring that on board, but it shouldn't hold us back from incorporating the youth voice in our decision-making processes. So I also want to invite you all to incorporate that youth voice in whichever organization you are currently active or you will be active in the future, because it will make your organization better. One of the challenges that young people brought forward in this way is about climate change, which is my next topic. So again, a statement. Youth should play a role in thinking about the future of our planet. Who's in favor?
Siapa yang setuju generasi muda harus punya peran dalam
Youth should play a role in thinking about the future of our planet.
Ya, dalam memikirkan masa depan planet kita. Yang setuju tunjuk tangan. Many of them is.
Okay, great. Okay, then we can keep it short because I fully agree with that as well. Bear with me for the figures. A study said that 70% of young people, 70%, said that they are extremely worried or very worried about climate change. And this percentage was even higher in many countries in the global south. In Indonesia, about 89% of youth consider climate crisis one of the biggest challenges for their career. 89%. Meanwhile, about 49% of Indonesian youth have poor climate change literacy. So that means lacking proper knowledge of the issues that climate change is bringing, the challenges and maybe opportunities that come with it. And although youth are certainly amongst the most vulnerable to climate impacts, they are also increasingly active actors in the field. They demand action, engaging in solutions. They seek skills for a green future. Skills that we need to provide as educational institutions. This is also why it is important that we continue to address the topic, but also why we continue to innovate our education policies, our curricula, because the developments are going so fast, and equipping the next generation to lead with impact is really important in this matter. We have to not only give them the trust that we trust young people to be part of the decision-making process, but we also have to provide them with the skills to do that in an efficient way. So, with that being said, I think it is important to go to the next topic, and that is about civic engagement. And that is active and informed citizenship. So again, my question to you. Young people are very active on social media. So my statement is posting your opinion on social media is just as impactful as organizing something in your local community. Who thinks it is?
Oke, siapa yang setuju? Posting ide, menyampaikan ide di sosial media sama pentingnya dengan melakukan sesuatu di komunitas kamu, melakukan aksinya di komunitas kamu. Silakan tunjuk tangan yang setuju.
Okay. Yes, thank you very much. I also tend to agree. Just as important, yes. Posting having your voice heard through social media, yes, very important. But doing something in your local community, an actual thing in your physical activity, is also very important. So yes, just as important, depends a bit on the context. Civic engagement today, that is of course more the point of this statement, can take many forms. From digital activism and community organizing to youth networks and grassroots movements. Look at the student protests. It was young people and their strategic use of social media that became a driving force behind the movement. And similar trends can be seen in other Gen Z-led demonstrations around the world. Youth are increasingly daring to speak up, to mobilize, and pressure for reform. And this growing wave of youth activism shows how engaged and connected the the next generation is, but also how much they really care. And we have to take that serious. This is exactly why it is so important to continue to invest in youth. They are not only future citizens, they are current actors whose voices must be heard even when their views challenge our own. And in the Netherlands and in our work, we support youth organizations, we support media literacy and volunteering as key ways to strengthen civic participation. And at the same time, we must also acknowledge a worrying global trend, that the civic space, in particular for young people, their ability to participate, to speak up, and to influence decisions is shrinking in many parts of the world. Yes, civic engagement is essential, but when the conditions for meaningful participation are not in place, young people risk being pushed further to the margins of society. So the question becomes, and I'm very curious to hear from you, how can we ensure that civic space for youth remains open and accessible? So how can we ensure that civic space for youth remains open and accessible? It's an open question, not a statement.
Dan sebuah pertanyaan terbuka, bagaimana kita bisa memastikan bahwa civil participation, ya, keaktifan dari generasi muda itu tetap ada ruang buat generasi muda untuk aktif di dalam komunitasnya. Ya, silakan dipikirkan.
Anyone, any idea?
Ada yang punya pendapat, ide, silakan.
Just just gonna wait until someone has an idea. Yes, in the back. I'll go there.
Hello, Mr. Jurian. My name is Tirta, but you talk about our climate. So, as someone who sorry, I write it down. As someone who experienced the 2018 Palu tsunami and earthquake, I saw firsthand how disasters severely disrupt the future of youth, affecting education and job opportunities. My question is, what concert step can be taken in international youth cooperation to specifically build resilience and ensure continuity of education and skill development for young people living in disaster-prone or post-disaster areas like Palu? Or this is just our problem, or just us can solve or this global problem? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that question. So your question is regions affected by risk, by global risks, and in this case a crisis. How is that a regional risk, or do we see it everywhere? Right? Do I summarize your question correct? First of all, I think it is. This is exactly part of the topic that young people want to raise. The consequences of climate change are real, and they are real for. They are most noticeable on a community level, and.
Our problem first is mental health.
Yes. Before that, yeah, mental health is actually another problem that I'll address.
After tsunami, the problem is mental health.
Yes. Yeah, totally. I'll come back to mental health because that's a problem or challenge that is mentioned often. And to be honest, globally now, more and more. This is the biggest problem in terms of being mentioned by young people that I face in recent years. It's mental health issues. And yes, climate change and all the risks that come from it, but also all the conflicts that are going on in the world, they cause a lot of mental health issues amongst young people. And why is that? Because they feel that the world is an increasingly riskier place with less opportunities for them, and even more so, less influence for young people to actually do something about it. And that feeling leads to a lot of mental health concerns. So I agree. And also thank you for raising the issue of, indeed, climate risks, because they are real, and we have to realize that it's not on a global scale that the challenges and risks are as visible as they are on a local scale. That is where people are being affected by tsunamis, by pollution, by floodings, etc., etc. So, thank you very much. What was the statement again? I lost it. Yeah, 1 second. Yeah, thank you. Yes, so I have to speed up, I'm told. Well, then we have already the topic of mental health concerns amongst young people, even though I don't have a solution for that. But the most important thing now is a recognition of the fact that many young people have, in particular after COVID, this has worsened a lot more, are faced with mental health concerns, and this number is only increasing. So it starts with a realization, and also in classes, as teachers, it is very important to know something about this matter and be aware of this. Yeah, then I'm going to skip a few topics. And I was asked to dive immediately, and you did so already, into the Q&A. So I am very open to your questions.
Thank you so much, Jurian, for your wonderful speech and presentation. Okay, everyone, now it's time for Q&A session ya, pertanyaan. Ada souvenir cantik di depan saya ini nanti diberikan untuk penanya. Jadi jangan malu-malu untuk bertanya. Silahkan pertanyaan. Any question, please raise your hand. Yes, ya di belakang. Okay, we have two questions from the back. Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry, Mr. I will speak in Bahasa.
Okay.
Maybe Miss Melia will translate for you. Okay. Okay. Yang saya mau tanyakan, perkenalkan saya Jana Seribina Berbarus dari Pendidikan Matematika. Tadi kan Sir bilang kalau permasalahan anak muda itu sama saja tentang sosial media, penggunaan TikTok, scroll TikTok begitu ya. Nah, yang saya mau tanyakan, apakah di pemerintahan Belanda itu ada peraturan yang mengatur bahwa untuk anak-anak itu ada batas usianya menggunakan sosial media. Nah, seperti yang saya dengar dari pemerintahan Australia itu, mereka punya batasan untuk anak-anak di bawah umur 16 tahun itu mereka dibatasi untuk menggunakan gadget gitu. Apakah di pemerintahan Belanda punya aturan seperti itu? Terima kasih.
Terima kasih. I understood anak-anak. No, because I didn't understand.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Julian, for your presentation. It's give me inspire for me as a teacher. I am Hani Nur Hasana from Mathematics Education, and I am also as a teacher. I'm sorry, in Bahasa, I guess because
Your English is excellent. Better than mine.
in Bahasa, it's not okay. Bagaimana sistem di Belanda mempersiapkan generasi muda agar tidak hanya unggul secara akademik, tetapi juga mampu menyiapkan generasi muda tersebut menghadapi tantangan untuk mempersiapkan pekerjaan atau profesi di masa depan. Dan bagaimana pula jika ada tips ataupun prinsip-prinsip yang bisa diterapkan di kami di Indonesia, khususnya saya sebagai seorang guru menyiapkan peserta didik untuk bisa memberikan, membuka wawasan tersebut, ya artinya mengaplikasikan prinsip-prinsip yang ada di Belanda ataupun hal baik yang ada di Belanda yang kami bisa adaptasi agar siswa-siswi di Indonesia pun punya kesadaran untuk mempersiapkan dirinya menghadapi masa depan. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih.
Thank you very much for a good presentation. I would like to ask a question based on the presentation that you have made. You have shortlisted of about 5 elements of the key issues that young generation face. As an ambassador for youth education and work, what do you do for the governments all of the world in trying to solve these challenges? Yes.
Okay, this is the first round for only 3 questions, and then we can continue for the second round. Yeah. Okay, the first question was, in the Netherlands, is there any policy from the Dutch government to limit the children age using social media?
Yep.
Because it happened in Australia.
Yep.
How about in the Netherlands? And then the second answer is, how is the system in the Netherlands to support young people there to be excel in their academic and also to be prepared in preparing themselves for future jobs and future job and challenges? And is there any tips for Indonesian teacher to help preparing their student here in Indonesia?
What was the start of the question, sir?
The first question?
No,
No, the second question. The Dutch system and to support young people to be excel in their academic and to prepare them for future jobs and challenges.
In the Netherlands. Okay, let me start with that question. In the Netherlands, there is a strong connection between the job market, the private sector, and the educational system. Private companies, CEOs or directors or managers, form part of the exam boards, for example, of educational institutions, but also of the curricula boards, committees, how you want to call them, to make sure that continuously the curriculum is updated to deliver students that are equipped with the latest skills and requirements from the labor market. So this is something that happens, and at a government level, we make sure that we limit the amount of places for very popular studies if they are at risk of producing more graduates than that there's actually demand for. And then we put a cap on that study. Typical studies are becoming a doctor, or medicine, or what is it nowadays? There's a few other examples. No, computer science, we never have enough computer scientists, so they don't have numerous fixes, as we call. Doctors, mainly, they are the most best-known study. Zilla, do you know another study with numerous fixes nowadays in the Netherlands?
Yeah, medical studies.
Yeah? There's a how do you call that? A study, that interdisciplinary study program that's very popular, but that is also very limited. I believe that's mainly due to capacity rather than labor market absorption capacity. But yeah, we constantly check if there's enough absorption capacity in the labor market vis-a-vis the study programs that how many students actually start those programs. And also the other way around, if we know that there's a sector that has gaps in the labor market, that has a huge demand, we try to promote extra students into going into that field. We do that by offering higher salaries, but also by promoting starting that study program. So that's the connection. Then the first question was about children age and social media, and as a matter of fact, there is. Well, there's no law or rule, but there is a very strong guideline since very recently, since this year actually, from the government. I don't even know the exact ages, which is a pity. I should know as a parent, but I believe the strong recommendation for children is to not have a phone until the age of 10, and for social media to not be on it until the age of 12 and not be on it unsupervised until the age of 14. It's something like that. Maybe I have the numbers a bit wrong, but that's a very strong government recommendation now for Dutch parents and children. And the third question was, what do I do? Basically, your question was, what do you do as an ambassador? Well, this is exactly why the Netherlands is the only country in the world who have an envoy or an ambassador for youth affairs, for employment, and for education. It is to raise these issues, as I'm raising them here today. I raise these with governments, with multilateral institutions like the EU and the UN, and I try to inspire other governments, and not only governments, also other organizations. And here today I hope to inspire the university and all of your organizations to take youth serious, to take them on board, and to really take their concerns serious and address them. And the best way of addressing all of these concerns is by listening to young people in a meaningful way. And by meaningful, I mean seriously listen to them and also try to do something with the recommendations that they provide organizations. So that is my role.
Okay, we have a short time left, so I'm going to open for the second round, maybe 2 more questions. Okay. Maybe you can pick.
I'll go. I'll keep the mic though.
2 more questions.
All right, thank you so much. Hello, Mr. Jurian. I'm Putri Haryani. My question is, because you are the ambassador of youth education and work to the Kingdom of the Netherlands, so I would like to ask if there is any opportunity available for our youth, especially in Indonesia and WNJ, our students, to have maybe experience cultural or academic exchange, maybe to the Netherlands, or youth in the Netherlands come to Indonesia in the near time, and maybe 2026. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, you had a question?
Thank you very much. My name is Jokbeth. I would like to ask, you mentioned that the Netherlands supports youth through startups. So I would like to ask, what were the practical steps perhaps you can give to, so that developing countries like Indonesia and other countries can perhaps use a similar approach, the practical steps that you used to make it active and functional?
Thank you very much for that question. I'll try to remember them all. Any other questions?
Two questions. Okay, one more, yeah, last one. We have limited time.
Yeah, thank you. Sir, I'm a teacher in natural science. With the rapid rise of, there is a phenomenon of teacherless classroom in the United States. So the question, how can a teacher remain truly irreplaceable in this era of digital transformation? So from your experience and the Netherlands approach to education, what core human quality must teacher embody and what specific actionable strategies should they adopt, both in classroom and beyond, to ensure they continue shaping empathic, creative, and resilient young mind in way that no algorithm ever hold. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you for all the questions.
Thank you. Let me start with that question because otherwise I'll forget it. Yeah. First of all, thank you for being a teacher. As I said, you are now my hero in the beginning. And your question was, what kind of traits, what should we as teachers train our kids, our children, our pupils in this era of increased digitalization, increased information, and given all of the skills that I mentioned are necessary in the labor market, what is our role as a teacher? Did I summarize your question correctly that way? Yeah. I would say, well, first of all, I'm not a teacher myself, but so my recommendation would be to train modern worldly citizens. Train soft skills. Make sure that they speak, well, English or at least Bahasa in such a way that they feel confident to speak in front of a group. Make sure that they are sociable people that love to engage with other people. That is very important. And perhaps one of the biggest challenges or advices I can give is train critical citizens, critical thinkers. Because in this age, with so many different sources and resources to get your information from, being critical about where this information is coming from is more important than ever. So always challenge what information is being put in front of you, where it's coming from, what might be a motive behind giving you that information or presenting that information. Just becoming a critical citizen is, I think, one of the most important skills that young people should have in this modern day and age. Is that helpful? And then, because then you can get all the materials. That's the beauty of the modern times. All of the teaching materials, all of the teaching techniques and skills and content, basically, that is now becoming more and more easily accessible thanks to AI and thanks to YouTube and the internet. So we need lesser and lesser big textbooks that grow outdated within a year. But the challenge is for teachers to continuously find and search for the most relevant, latest educational materials. But the good thing is they are freely available everywhere. It's a challenge to find them and guide your students to that and inspire them with that. And then, giving them the gift of being a critical citizen. Let's put it that way, observing all of these materials. That was the answer to your question, or part of the answer of your question, I hope. Your question was about entrepreneurial skills. And thank you for that question as well. As I mentioned, entrepreneurship is increasingly important, and the Netherlands supports countries in particular where there is not so much of a startup scene by actually making sure there is one. So what we do, we grow incubators, or we start incubators. We have more than 20 Orange Corner incubators in countries all over the world, in particular where there is no accelerator yet. And there, young people can come with business ideas or just a vague idea, and they will be developed into a startup. And very important is that we don't leave them after they have started their startup in a 3-month period, but after that becomes the important part, to accelerate from a startup into a scale-up. And for that you need other skills and advices and other inputs. You need, for example, to start looking at money and funding. So if that doesn't exist in the ecosystem, we provide that as well. Everything to help young people grow a business from the idea to the moment that they are ready to find investments on the market themselves. That is basically where we invest in countries where this ecosystem doesn't exist yet. In countries like Indonesia, where that ecosystem does exist, we support this, and we support the ideation phase by organizing hackathons, for example, or we support starting businesses at the later phase, at the accelerator stage, in sectors where perhaps we, through Dutch expertise, can be of extra assistance. And then I'm thinking of the water sector, and I'm thinking of the circular economy sector, for example. So there we provide expertise to accelerate these businesses. And then coming to your question on the opportunities that there are for Indonesian students in the Netherlands and the other way around for Dutch students in Indonesia. Well, last night we had a fantastic alumni event organized at the Erasmus House here at the Embassy of the Netherlands in Jakarta. And more than, or close to 200 alumni from Indonesia, having studied in the Netherlands, were there. They form a very strong network. We know that there are more than 25,000 Indonesians who have studied in the Netherlands at some point. Different university, different fields, different lengths of study. But they form a very close network, so the opportunities are plentiful. Very concretely, at this moment there are opportunities. There are a lot of opportunities to study high-tech studies, in the Netherlands, with in particular the semicon industry. We're looking for talents in that specific field. And I like your question also, how can we promote Dutch students to come here? Well, as a matter of fact, there are many doing internships here, for example, or also sharing their expertise. We have the Young Experts program, which is a great program combining Dutch recently graduated students and linking them with Indonesian companies or foreign companies, and the other way around, Indonesian students with Dutch companies to share knowledge and expertise. That is the idea. So there are different opportunities. There's a huge scope program that's funded by the European Union but implemented by the Dutch Educational Science Institute. Not sure how NUFIC translates into English, but that also focuses on talented Indonesian students. So there's plenty of opportunities, and the connections between our two countries, in particular in an academic field, have always been very strong. Many of the Dutch universities also have a presence here in Jakarta or in Indonesia in general, like Wageningen University, Delft Technical University, etc., etc. So lots of opportunities.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Julian Mederhoff. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. That's the end of the Studium Generale. And before I close this session, I have 3 wonderful souvenirs for the best questions. Julian, could you please pick 3? Which question do you think is the best?
First of all, the teacher, because he also asked a very crucial question, and of course he's my hero.
Please come forward, our hero of the day, and then 2 more.
Two more. Yeah, the question on entrepreneurship, because that gave me an opportunity to explore that even further.
And one last.
And then the lady raising the concern of mental health and crisis. Those are 2 topics that unfortunately I didn't have enough time to elaborate on. So thank you for raising that.
Could you please
Yeah, thank you so much for your excellent question. Okay, and before we leave, I wanted to leave you with some closing remarks. First of all, I have some advice for all the young people here, or those people that feel young, because that's also good, of course. My advice from a very old person to all of you: claim your space. Be proactive. Speak up and make sure that your voice is being heard. Often both solicited and unsolicited advice go a very long way. Be also proactive in building technical and soft skills, as I explained. They are skills that are required for the jobs that there will be in the future. And if you want to make impact, start small, solve something local in your community, and then learn by doing. Because every step of the way builds new experiences and creates new opportunities. Organize and connect. Often opportunities are made in co-creation and cooperation. And to all the teachers or potential teachers here, first of all, I want to thank you for your effort. And second of all, I want to point you at your responsibility. Because the destiny of the younger generations lay in your hands. And that is a fantastic opportunity, a fantastic honor to be able to work with it, but also a great responsibility. So use that wisely, and you have my utmost respect and appreciation. Masa depan ada di tangan kalian. Jadilan, jadilan generasi yang menggunakan Indonesia dan Belanda dengan semangat dan ide-ide baru.
Thank you so much, Jurgen Middelhoff. Thank you for your wonderful, inspiring lecture today. Hadirin, mohon beri tepuk tangan sekali lagi. Please give a big applause for Julian Middelhoff. Oke, tadi di akhir closing statementnya beliau berpesan untuk selalu aktif dan make sure bahwa suara Anda semua didengar gitu. Jadi jangan takut, tetap proaktif. Baik, saya Melia Sari dengan ini menutup sesi pagi hari ini. Terima kasih banyak atas perhatian hadirin semuanya. Mohon maaf jika ada kekurangan. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. That's the end of our session today. Thank you so much, Julian. Terima kasih. Thank you well. And see you in the next session maybe. Okay. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Dankjewel, to our distinguished speaker for sharing such inspiring insights, and to our audience for the thoughtful questions and active participation. We would also like to extend our deepest appreciation to our moderator, Dr. Melia Sari, for gracefully guiding the discussion and keeping the session engaging and meaningful. Please give them a warm round of applause.
And next, we will proceed with the token of appreciation session. We are honored to invite Dr. Hadinas Bey, MSc, the Dean Faculty of Mathematics and Natural Sciences, to come up to the stage. And we invite His Excellency Julian Middelhoff, Dutch Ambassador of Youth Education and Works, to also join us on the stage for token appreciation session. And I will have to count for documentation. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Last time. Again. With the souvenir. 1, 2, 3. Second time. Again. Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Julian. Please, Mr. Julian, can please stay on the stage for group photo station later. And we do invite Mevrouw Zila Boyers, Second Secretary Political. Oh, token for us. Okay. And I will have to count for documentation. 1, 2, 3. Once again. Okay. And next, we are to invite Mevrouw Zila Boyer, Second Secretary Political Affairs, to come up to the stage to give token of appreciation session. And I will have to count 1, 2, 3. Once again, 1, 2, 3. And now with the souvenir. One, 2, 3. Once again, 1, 2, 3.
We also invite Dr. Melia Sari as our moderator today to come up to the stage. Okay, I will help to count 1, 2, 3. Once more, 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
and have a group photo session with Mr. Zila Boyer, Mr. Jurian, and the moderator, Dr. Meila Sari, and with Dr. Hadi Nasbey, the Dean of Faculty of Mathematics and Natural Sciences, and an international student of Universitas Negeri Jakarta. And we will help to count. 1, 2, 3. Once again, 1, 2, 3. With dignitasan, UNJ sign. Okay, I will have to count. 1, 2, 3. Once again with the big smile. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Hadi Nasbey, MSE. Thank you, His Excellency Jurian Middelhoff, Mrs. Zila Boyer, and Dr. Melia Sari. You may now return to your seats.
Ladies and gentlemen, we kindly ask all distinguished guests to please stay at your respective seats as we capture this moment together with another point of view and the documentation front row. And I will have to count once again. Mafro, okay, please stand up. Okay. We'll have to count 1, 2, 3. Once again, 1, 2, 3. One last time. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, to end the event, it is an honor for me, Matthew Nathaniel, and my partner,
Keiran Audi,
as the master of ceremony of this event. Thank you very much for your participation. Have a nice day, good afternoon, and tot zin!